Everybody, Mike Naso here from podweather.com and Internet Partnership Radio with an update on Hurricane Bertha. Taking a look at the last 24 hours, Hurricane Bertha has been fluctuating out there between a Category 1 and 2 hurricane, and it's now crossed 60 west, and it's headed more northwesterly, and you can see these clouds here. This high cloud is pointed in the direction that it's going to be headed, and that's generally towards the northwest and the north over the next several days, but Bermuda is sitting right here. And even though this barrier is protecting the U.S., Bermuda is at risk from being impacted by Hurricane Bertha. That wave we watched move through the Grenadines is now in the southeast Caribbean. It shouldn't do anything but heavy rainfall. And then moving off Africa, you can see a few tropical waves. Some of the long-range models, the long-range GFS shows a wave down here developing into a depression in about 4 or 5 days, taking a track like this straight into South Florida and then straight towards the Gulf Coast. Hopefully that long-range GFS doesn't pan out, but the last 2 years the long-range GFS has been a little bit more reliable with formation and track, but not so much with intensity. So it pointed Bertha, but if you look at a map, the GFS showed Bertha at this point many times as nothing but a weak area of disturbed weather, certainly not a hurricane. So we'll watch this all and talk about it. Here's the latest on Hurricane Bertha. It's at 27.2 north, 60.8 west. 85 mile an hour winds gusting to 105, is moving northwest at 10, slower now, 980 millibars, and it's forecast to really kind of remain the next 4 or 5 days just to the east of Bermuda as a hurricane. It could strengthen a bit over the next 24 hours, but Bermuda is in this cone, and it's still too early to know. If it stalls too much and wobbles, it could get close to bring some tropical storm force winds or hurricane force winds even to the island. That's still unknown. If we do have a hurricane sitting here, that onshore flow will cause some high seas, no doubt, for areas of Bermuda. Taking a look at the latest satellite loop, you can see Bertha just as the sun hits the eye wall here, the eastern eye wall. Very well-defined hurricane, still very potent, and you can see that motion there off towards the northwest is looking a little bit better in the latest loop, so it might even be strengthening a bit. We'll have to wait and see what the 11 p.m. package says from the National Hurricane Center. Model guidance is again slow and erratic, generally towards the north, but it's too close for Bermuda, so you have to have your hurricane plans ready. If it continued on its current motion 5 days out, it'd end up in Delaware, but that's not going to happen. It's definitely going to move out. But Bermuda sits in the middle of the open ocean, and even though we have a hurricane out in the middle of the open ocean, there is still that island to contend with. Wind shear is currently favorable, should be favorable the next few days, and then get stronger, and Bertha should weaken to a tropical storm in 4 or 5 days. But still, it's going to be a hurricane near its closest approach to Bermuda, it looks like. Another vantage point, you can see this barrier kind of helping keep Bertha off to the east, but Bermuda's sitting right here already in the cloud shield. Off the east coast, we're going to be watching this trophiness because as it moves down, sometimes we could get some development in the NAM models showing that. You can see here Bermuda and Hurricane Bertha off on the right edge of the screen. Here's the Central Atlantic, a good tropical wave in here that we're going to watch as this moisture heads westward, and then even further out off Africa, more moving off, and again, long-range models forecast something to develop and move this way, the GFS and the Canadian, to that note that as well. Finally, in the Eastern Pacific, we have an invest down here that's showing some signs of organization, and this could develop as it moves on towards the west or west-northwest over the next several days. That'll do it. That's the latest on Hurricane Bertha. I'm Mike Naso, and I'll see you next time.